Well, why am I interested in leadership? I think leadership, in many ways, and again, this is, in some ways, it's a leadership commercial, Sandy. We're here to talk about leadership. I'm not here to talk about other things that other people know much about, and I don't. But for me, leadership today is one of the most crucial elements that goes into building a just, equitable, fair, and healthy society. I can't help but believe that what's going on right now in Alabama with the crisis that they're having with BP, with the oil spilling all over the place, which will eventually probably make its way to BC at some point in time, I guess, even if it comes underground. I can't help it. This is a leadership issue. The models that were used for leadership at the beginning of the century, for those of you who may have read some literature and some history, the leadership models that were used at the beginning of the century are not the same ones that we use now. The Canadian Armed Forces, the leadership models they used during the Second World War, are not the leadership models they use now. The church doesn't use the same leadership models. Education doesn't use the same leadership models. So why should we assume that 100 years from now, the leadership model that you're using now will still be in place? You better accept the fact that it's changing. As a matter of fact, one of the analogies that I often use is that leadership is often measured the way we measure, if you know, I've seen them because I just drove from Calgary to Vancouver. They have those signs that the trucks have to get off the road so they can be weighed. Those truck scales that they use, whatever they're called. I think they're called weigh scales. The trucks in Ontario call them truck scales. Well, for me, leadership, a lot of people measure leadership using a truck scale. Unfortunately, what they don't realize is that they don't have a tractor trailer. What they're weighing is a baby. Historically, leadership was always transactional, not transformational. Guess who said transactional? Bussies does. What's transactional? Anybody know transactional? We'll save it because I'll tell you and then we can talk about it. Transactional leadership is the old model. It's still used very extensively in hospitals and clinics. Parents use it. It's the carrot and the stick. You do what I say, I'll give you a bonus. You behave yourself, I'll pat you on the back. I'll put up your picture on the wall as the worker of the month. Right? Which is okay, but a lot of that is based on the notion that you do as I say and I'll reward you. For those of you who remember some of your psychology courses, that's called extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation. With all due respect, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it, extrinsic motivation is necessary, but not sufficient condition for transformational leadership.